Whoa. What the heck? What? Oh, I know what the problem is. What's up, everyone? How are you guys today? There we go. Oh, we don't need that. We don't need that. Oh, there we go. What's going on, guys? How are you? Good Monday to you all. Vector with the 7 months. Hello. Thank you. Hello. I'm back. We're back. What's going on, everybody? Who shares Baby J's theme song? All by myself. I wanna be all by myself. Do. Hi. Damn funny. See, I can't do that kind of stuff when they are here, right? Hoosiers. Oh, who we got here? What's up, Big Bobzilla? He's first. We got Paint Liquor. We got Blood Walrus, Rattle Can. Of course, we got Hoosiers, Vector, Sugar Rush. Yeah, that's it for right now. Seeing all you guys in here, it's great to see you. I'm having a delightful Monday so far. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Anybody do anything super fun over the course of the weekend? We survived the weekend and earned a Baby J serenade. Love it. You broke it. I have broken it. It is all broken. Oh god. Unbreak. There we go. It is pretty close to being able to glue in though. Like we're pretty solid on the way there. I think after today, I think the goal is to get it to be able to be glued in today. That's the goal. That's the goal for today. And this model should be done by the end of the week, I imagine. Just played some Kingdom Death. Woo! Just had a good time with your friend. Paint Liquor, is there a particular campaign that you guys are playing? You guys doing the dragon one, or one of the other funky ones? Because they have a million different campaigns that you can play, which is one of the awesome things about that game. You're doing Core Lantern? Dope. It is classic. Source, hello! What's going on, Source? Or Pig Bacon, how are you doing? Good afternoon. We're back for a little bit more painting goodness. Jen and Jason should be here shortly. They're just out having lunch right now. So they'll be back and be joining us here momentarily. What's going on, Monument fam? Flapjack Nickelsack, how are you doing today? We're doing great over here. We're going to take this model, push him over to the side, and we're going to get started on... Well, I got to stick this guy back onto the base. Alright, we got to refine that face a little bit too. Paint these golden bits. I forget that Kingdom Death is a game and not just lewd minis. Yeah, I mean, it's actually like a pretty good game. It's not like insane. I think the really attractive thing for me about Kingdom Death is the fact that they have done a really good job of creating lots of really interesting permutations of things that you can do within a campaign. And that when you when you do a different campaign, so if you're not doing like Core Lantern, and you're doing like the Dragon God or something like that, I forget what they're called, but like they have their own feel to them that's very unique. So I really dig that. The actual like fight mechanics,
shush, paint.
I'm welcoming everybody here.
Paint.
And you.
No talking.
Oh, okay.
Only painting. Shush, chat. Need to shush.
Mm-hmm.
Shush.
Mm-hmm.
No talking, no singing, no dancing. Only painting.
Oopsies. I might have sung earlier.
That means double the painting. Paint like what's going on.
Hoosiers made a really funny comment, and I had to let it fly.
Dad is back, and you guys are in lots of trouble.
What have they done this time?
What haven't they done?
I guess that's a fair question.
It's chat.
Oh.
Quick, hi, Dad's back. Dad's here, look busy.
Dad's here, look busy. How are you doing today,
Dodge,
Jason?
what's going on? I'm doing great.
Excellent.
Jen and I went and had lunch.
Oh, what did you guys do for lunch?
Which was awesome. We went to Postino.
I still have never been to Postino's.
There's about a million places you haven't been.
Yeah, that's like a big place around here, though.
You have all these amazing restaurants in Phoenix. And what do you choose? Chipotle.
Well, for lunches, I do that. I don't often go to Chipotle for dinner anymore. Then how about this, Jason? How about you challenge me? I have no plans for dinner tonight. What should I have for dinner? If there are a bunch of these places that I need to go try. What's
I mean, where do I start? What do you feel like eating? Because there's a place for everything you would feel like eating.
Nothing that's super heavy. So, like, I don't want a steak or something like that. Or, like, a ridiculous amount of food. Which leaves most options fairly open.
Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't help.
Well,
you can go anywhere and you can get
I'm open.
A salad.
Well, I didn't say it necessarily had to be light. I just don't want anything that's, like, super heavy. I'm trying to be more cognizant of the food that I put in my body these days. Because I'm doing a lot of exercising and
good for you.
Trying to make sure that all of those things work together.
Good.
So, like, even though I went to Chipotle for lunch today, I didn't get really, like, I got just a little bit of cheese, a little bit of sour cream, not very much at all. So we're scaling it back. It was still tasty. I also only ate half of it. So, that was good too. I think black brown is a good call here.
Source says Postino obs.
Is that the call? Do you concur
Get a
with
charcuterie board. It's grown-up Lunchables. Correct. I had the brie and prosciutto panini.
Ooh, that actually sounds really good.
It's really good. It's good. It's fairly light. You get it on focaccia bread. One of my faves.
Focaccia bread.
You can also get just a board of what is it called? Bruschetta. A bruschetta board, and you get to choose from all their bruschettas that they have, and you can do all that. Monday and Tuesday night, they have, I think after 8 o'clock or something, you go there, and you can do the whole board and bottle of wine for like a ridiculously low price. So when you get back into the swing of like trying to date or something, that's your spot.
Okay. On Mondays and Tuesdays.
Because Monday and Tuesday night, I think, is the only nights that works. But it's amazing.
Okay.
Because it's like $30 for a bruschetta board and a full bottle of wine.
That's actually a great deal.
It's a stupid deal.
That's a great deal.
2 of you can eat a board of bruschetta.
Yeah, you can share it.
And then a bottle of wine.
Huh. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's stupid awesome. Jen and I when we used to drink, we used to go there and do that on Mondays and Tuesdays. Or Mondays, one of the two out in Gilbert.
Is Postino's particularly far away?
No, it's up on Central and Camelback here, but there's also a bunch more.
Okay.
There's one on 40th Street, 44th Street, right across from Ingo's. Tasty Foods. Ingo's. You got to go to Ingo's. What the heck? There's what you're going to do tonight.
Okay, what? So tell me about Ingo's.
You're going to Ingo's Tasty Foods. Ingo's is a burger joint.
Okay.
Right? They make an amazing burger.
Okay.
Their chicken sandwich is really good too. It's small.
Okay. Cool.
It's not like huge burger.
Yep.
But it's all like done like, grass fed awesome beef for the burger.
Okay.
They have chips instead of fries that they make right there in front of you. So they do the potatoes and the frying of the potatoes right in front of you.
Okay.
They have neat kind of dips for the chips, which is really cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a great place. There's one on, like I said, on 44th and like Indian School or Osborne or something like that. And then there's another one downtown if you want to go downtown.
44th is probably easier to get into.
The one downtown is...
Depends on where the one downtown is located.
It's over by the basketball stadium.
Oh, that's pretty deep.
So it's there's tons of like parking garages, but you got to like parking garage it, so a little less convenient.
Yeah, I'll probably go to the. You said 44th and
44th and like Indian School or something like that.
Okay.
Might not be Indian School, might be Osborne. I think it's Osborne, but one of those.
It's called what again?
Ingo's.
Ingo's.
Ingos
Ingos.
Tasty Food.
I'm gonna jot this down so I don't forget it. I've been told, and we'll have to touch base tomorrow about Ingo's. Ingo's Tasty Food.
No pressure, but nobody that we've ever taken there has ever said a bad thing about the place.
Okay, I'm looking forward to having bad things. I'm just kidding. Great. Cool. I will check it out. I like going and trying new places, so this sounds like a great plan.
It's a great place if you have somebody that wants to go with, because you guys can sit outside and the weather's perfect right now because they have all patio seating. There's like a bar inside is the only thing. It's a really cool place. It's like this little bitty round building, and the bar is just this round bar inside. You could sit there. It sits like maybe 10 people around the bar, and then everything else is outdoor seating.
Cool. I'll probably just take it and go outdoor seating with it.
Or get it to go.
I could get it to go. That's a little bit far for to-go food, I find. Because that's probably like 20 minutes away from here.
Oh, not even.
You don't think so? To 44th?
Nah. You gotta remember, 24th is just the other side of the 51.
Oh, you said 24th.
No, 44th, but 24th is just the other side of the 51, and that's only 20 blocks more. It's not that far.
I guess so.
For you, Mr. I drove to Old World Games when I was supposed to be going to Gamers Guild. Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's close.
I guess that's true. Oh, I just realized you're talking about 44th Street.
Yes.
Okay, so it's out east.
East of us, yes.
I don't know why I was thinking west for some reason.
There might be something decent on 44th Avenue, but I doubt it.
This could work out. I was thinking about going to Old World tonight anyways.
There you go. You hit up Ingo's, go to Old World. Because you could just catch Indian School and head Indian School all the rest of the way over.
Yeah, totally. I spent a lot of time at my house this weekend, so I'm definitely in the mood to go out and do stuff.
Let's scroll back up because Source says base coat coal black going dark turquoise then turquoise. What would you add between coal black and dark turquoise? Why do you have to add anything?
Yeah.
You could do like
them.
dark blue. If you're doing turquoises, I like dark blue, like what I've done here with the jades. The dark blue first over the black. Right? So you could do dark blue into your turquoises the same way I have with the jades. That works great. But you could just do, dark turquoise over it. Very thin at first will give you a black and dark turquoise mix, and then start building the dark turquoise up over that too. Derpstick says, question, does the angle dry brush being angled make a difference in dry brushing on edge highlights? Been thinking about getting it because I prefer to dry brush the highlights on. No, what the angle dry brush allows you to do is get into tighter spots and pull your dry brush out of tight spots, especially when doing like terrain on the base or, in between details on the model. That's the only reason we choose the angle over the flat dry brush. The flat dry brush doesn't let you do that because you have to shove so much of the brush into an area. So it just makes things a lot easier to reach those detail spots.
Yeah, it lets you dry brush bases with dudes on them.
Yeah,
without having to
their
like
feet
mash
and
your
stuff
dry brush
without
in
getting
there.
crap all over them.
Yeah.
There's a YouTuber named George Motz that does a whole bunch of hamburger history stuff and went around the country documenting regional hamburger styles. I think you all. Oh, nice.
Oh,
that's interesting,
cool.
actually.
That would be very interesting.
Lou Sasslez, what's going on? We are doing great around here. Frosty, what's going on?
Tasmanian Demon.
Hope all of you had a wonderful weekend and are back at it in the week.
Mm-hmm.
Monday is treating you okay? Maybe it's a better experience when Jen and Jason take you. Game delay. What are you talking about?
To the food to Ingo's, maybe?
He's never been to an Ingo's.
I don't know. Maybe I missed the...
Oh, he was just responding to, there's never been anyone say it's bad when we take them. And he's like, maybe it's better when Jen and Jason take you, but it's just good on its own. The chips are like, because they just slice potatoes and then fry it, you get potato chips. Like they're real potato.
They're real potato.
They're crunchy, but still potato-y.
Yeah.
And they give you like this one green chili dip and this other one that's like maybe a jalapeno lime cream thing that you can dip the potato. It's so good. Like I go there just for that. Oh, they also have deviled eggs.
So you should get deviled eggs?
You should get a flight of deviled eggs because it's like 2 deviled eggs. I think it's 3 or 4 pieces of deviled egg on there.
Halves.
With a deviled egg and little bacon bits. Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
So good.
Okay, deviled eggs. All right. I might get the chicken sandwich. The chicken sandwich
is good.
I'm Very a big... Good. Do they do grilled or fried, or is it just fried?
I think you can get it either way.
Okay, cool. I'll probably get it grilled.
Tasmanian Damon says, do you get the Tasmanian Damon? Sorry, not Demon. Damon, which is the friendly type. Do you get the miniatures ready or you print them, create them with polymer clay? So, like, the models that you're seeing here, the one that Jordan is painting is molded resin. So this is one that is a hand-molded resin. So it was sculpted, a master was printed out on a 3D printer and then cleaned. Then they made a mold on that master, and then they take that mold, that silicone mold, they strap it together, and they pour resin, 2-part resin into it, and then that resin hardens and you get a model. So that's the way that one's done. This one is injection molded PVC, so plastic basically, but a rubbery kind of plastic. The arms will bend and all that. And this one came put together. This was part of a Kickstarter, so these are all right. We do have our own models that we do that are 3D printed that I create, and then we have William Sang sculpt them, and then we print them here in-house. So these are just resin 3D printed. And there's all sorts of types. Polymer clay is a little rougher. You can sculpt them yourself, obviously, and some people do paint that, but in a lot of cases they would use that master to then make a mold and not paint over the polymer master. But there are still some people that do, for sure. Law Dog, you're trying to work up a copper shield, and I cannot nail why it's not working. Burnt sienna, burnt orange, shadow flesh, bright shadow flesh. Can't tell if I need to skew more orange or red. What colors would you suggest if that doesn't sound right? I mean, that would work. The shadow flesh is a little pinkish, but if you're mixing it in with the burnt orange, I could see that working. Those colors would work fine to give you more of a dull copper, right? So kind of like a dull penny copper, I think. Trying to think of what I have here that might have some copper, metallic copper on it. I don't think I have anything right off the bat.
I mean, I'd also be happy to just do a workup of copper metallic if we want to figure that out.
But it's up to you as to how you push it, as far as do you want it to be more orange, or whatever. I think it seems like I have
burnt
something
sienna,
that has like
orange.
verdigris on the copper, but I just can't remember what it was that I painted that was like
burnt
that.
sienna, burnt orange right here, shadow flesh.
Nothing.
Bright shadow flesh. Law Dog, do you have warm flesh and dark warm flesh? Because those are likely going to be better copper colors than the Shadow Flush. The Shadow Flush is pretty dark and, like Jason said, it's pretty pinkish.
Could still work, but
It
you're
could
going to
still
need
work,
something.
for sure.
You're going to need the Bright Shadow Flesh will get you your highlight for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then something like Bright Warm Flesh over the top of that to get that real punch of reflection. Tasmanian says, I'm just getting started and opened up a whole new world for you. Isn't it, though? Like, legit, the world of miniatures and miniature painting is so broad. Glad to have you. Glad you found it. Welcome. We will teach you all the bad habits.
Whoa.
Well, Jordan will teach you bad habits, and then I'll correct him.
Wait a second.
And then you'll know what you're doing.
Wait a second.
So.
I'm only here for good habits, okay? Don't let this guy steer you wrong. I like good habits just as much as the next guy.
Kyra is silent. What's going on? 4 Pig Bacon. I think I broke my Pro Acryl today. Broke your Pro Acryl. You missed a brush full of transparent red into a drop of yellow ochre and ended up with bubblegum pink. There you go. Sounds about right. Yasin, what's going on? Or Yasin. Dodge Hal, I like how we have now turned Jordan's light dinner into about 5 to 10 different suggestions. Yeah, he'll have one of everything on the menu.
It's true.
Derpstick says, so what dry brush would be good for edge highlights? Depends. So we have both domed and flat dry brushes. The angle to the flat doesn't really make any difference except for like getting into tight locations like we talked about. If you're doing surfaces that have a curvature to them, then I say use the flat dry brush. So most miniatures, the flat dry brush works really well. The dome dry brush is going to give you more than just the edge highlight. It's also going to feather color into the blend of highlight. So if you just want to capture edges, the flat dry brush is probably your best way. So either of the angled two. The small one for tight spots, the larger one for the bigger spots works great. Panic Bomb, what's going on? Game Delay says, I see that Jordan is painting how C-3PO became fluent in over 6 million forms of communication. What?
What?
What are you smoking, lawyer boy?
Does not compute.
Route. Happy Monday. Lou says, feel free to take it or leave it. Painting a tabletop-ready army would be a cool stream. Maybe a viewer's army who likes to paint but procrastinates too much. So we've done that a lot. Yeah, we've done tabletop-ready kind of stuff quite a bit. I did, let's see, the 2 big ones that I've done in the recent past were, like, within the last year, was we did 2,000 points of Lumineth Realm Lords for Age of Sigmar, and we did that in a week.
Yep.
So that was very just battle-ready army.
That was a while ago, because that happened before I started here.
Yeah. And then I did 47...
Jeez. Yep, you did.
40 in 2 weeks, we did 47
oh my gosh.
Battletech miniatures to what I would call a good tabletop standard. Something that looks good, put them on. My whole battalion looks like this. Some of them I didn't finish the bases on, but I just have the base. I have the base material on them, but I haven't painted the base on all of them. But to that level of, just simplistic, putting airbrushing and washing and very, very quick blending to get some highlight on, edge highlights and things like that. Not anywhere near to the extent we're doing this big guy. But yeah, we do all sorts of army painting type stuff. We did a full tray of Baratheon Knights for Song of Ice and Fire tabletop game. Just something that shows you how you can very quickly put a bunch of dudes on the table and have them look good, but there's not hardly any time at all spent on these. It's all dry brushed. All the metallic is dry brushed, believe it or not. And it was really just fast sketching on the yellows and browns, and then you're done. Done. I think putting the basing material on the tray took more time than anything else.
I can actually believe that. Those trays are huge.
But then we also paint a bunch of higher end stuff. That's really where, we like to spend the time showing off techniques. But the fast painting, we focus on from time to time.
Working on this guy right now.
Sounds like almost 10 stars of mechs. It is almost. It's a battalion of Innersphere because I don't paint filthy clanners like this one.
I don't paint things like this.
Filthy clanners. Filthy vatborn. Law Dog says, sorry, Jordan, can you say what colors you're going to use again?
I'm using your colors.
Yeah, yours. Burnt sienna.
I might make one adjustment, having looked at the bottles and kind of how I would approach painting copper. I might replace the shadow flesh with dark worm flesh, because shadow flesh is pretty dark, and it doesn't give you a value jump really from burnt sienna, or from burnt orange rather. So I think it would work better for you as that step up, and that might be why you're struggling a little bit. Now, the other question I had as well is, when you're painting this non-metallic metal, are you mixing your colors as well, or are you just using single steps? So, for example, like burnt sienna into burnt orange, or are you mixing between them? Half steps and glazing in between. Okay.
He pays attention.
I'm glad to hear it. So this is burnt orange on top of the burnt sienna. Now I'm building this up in a couple of different layers because it is a little bit less of a super opaque color and likes to be built up a little bit over that previous color. But it shouldn't take more than 1 or 2 additional steps. It's really, really easy color to work with.
Papa Chicken, what's going on?
And the other thing as well is, when you're using a color like this that can be built up over a couple of different layers, one of the really wonderful things about it is, without even mixing any additional colors in, you can create a gradient from one color to the next by reducing the amount that you paint on the model from each layer. So, for example, if you're starting with the burnt sienna layer, let's say you cover 75% of that with your first layer of burnt orange. And that layer will be semi-opaque. So you'll still see some of the burnt sienna underneath it. And then you'll paint 50% of what you painted with the total burnt sienna with another layer of the burnt orange. And this will brighten that layer. It'll make it more opaque. And you'll have more of a transition without having to do any glazes or anything in between. So you can sort of fake additional steps while base coating your second layer. So that's a neat sort of trick that you can use. Avian Tholium for 28-month streak. Hello,
no
welcome.
Way.
Thank you, sir.
This is how you know they're liars. Nobody could possibly like us for that long.
That's true. That's true. How do you guys do it? How do you guys withstand the craziness?
You ever seen like a wet puppy on the side of the road that you just wanted to take care of?
Yes.
That's us.
Oh, jeez.
That's how they view us.
Is it?
Yeah. We're just a lost, homeless puppy on the side of the road that everybody wants to take care of. They don't really like us because we bite, pee on the rug.
Wait, do we? I've never peed on the rug.
What about that one time?
A box of Legos is not a rug.
Well, same.
These two things are not equal, Jason.
Same.
These two things, they are not equal. Alright, so that should be good on that layer. And next we're going to take... So I'll show you the difference between the shadow flesh step and the dark worm flesh step.
You would much rather step on a rug on accident at 3 a.m. than a Lego? Also true. Also true. Vexing Workshop, what's going on? Thank you. You know, you eat a couple bottles of paint and suddenly you can't stop watching. Jen's not here. So correct.
All right.
Now, did Baby J pee on the carpet before or after he stepped on a Lego and got a concussion? Yes. How do you get a concussion from stepping on a Lego? By, like, falling afterwards?
Yeah.
But would you rather step on a Lego that's been peed on or a rug that's been peed on? Yes. No.
Yes.
Do I have a choice? Because I'd like neither. Can the choice be chocolate cake? Just got the dark camo green primer. Such an interesting color and unique hue, Chris. It's a great starter for any greens. You know, we call it camo green as kind of a generic starting base. You can also do anything in the world of browns if you want to build browns up over it and stuff. Great color.
So, Law Dog, just so you can have a point of reference. So, this color in the middle on my thumb palette here is burnt orange. To the left, you have the 50-50 mix of burnt orange and shadow flesh. And then to the right, you have the 50-50 mix of burnt orange and dark warm flesh. You'll notice that the one on the left is a little bit more pink than the one on the right. So this stays more towards that like warm coppery highlights, where this starts to incorporate a little too much of that kind of reddish note that we were talking about earlier. This is also a little bit brighter, whereas the color on the left here is quite a bit darker. It's very similar. It's not super duper similar, but it is definitely close enough in value to the burnt orange that it is going to take more steps total to achieve your result, when you can really just work with something as bright as this. And you'll see that as I work this up.
Flapjack, why? Why are you like this?
What do you say?
Why are you like this, Flapjack?
What have you done, Flapjack?
I do not want a piece of peed on carpet cake. And yes, you can clip that. I stand behind that sentiment. I'm not interested in your peed on carpet cake. Carpet cake in general, probably off the menu. Not interested. Just going to go out on a limb and say it. That would have to be one hell of a clean carpet.
Nope. I don't think that exists. I'm not sure carpet can ever be clean enough for that, Jason.
You want to eat carpet cake off of?
Yes.
I'm kind of with you. That's kind of where I'm leaning.
Like, I don't care if it was just freshly installed brand new carpet. I'm not carpet caking it.
I guess it also depends on the kind of cake. Like a sticky cake, definitely not. Right? Like I feel like chocolate cake with the right amount of like icing and such, probably not ever conducive to be eating off of carpet. But like, what if it was a piece of pound cake?
Nope.
Like pound cake, I would probably give the 5-second rule to on carpet.
5-second rule. Nope. just nope.
I don't know. I think chat's with me. I think chat would give it the 5-second rule.
Chat would do a lot of things that they probably shouldn't do.
You don't have to eat the carpet cake.
You're right. I don't have to eat the carpet cake, and I won't eat the carpet cake.
A layer of coconut on top of the cake is almost like a carpet. Well, but the dog doesn't roll around on it.
Or pee on it. Well, jury's out on the peeing on the carrot cake thing. You never know.
Chat, you ever wonder how we got here from there?
All the time. All the time.
Chat, why are we like this?
It's a known fact that bacteria needs 5 seconds to adhere. Oh.
Truer words were never spoken. I went to science class.
And that's what they told you, huh?
5-second rule. All parasites and bacteria know the 5-second rule, and they play by the rules. 100%.
Law Dog. Thank you so much, Jordan. I think you're right, and I was maybe bouncing between orange and pink copper in my workup. Dark warm flesh really unifies into what was in my brain. Excellent. I will continue with some highlights here so you can see the finished product of the copper. But I mean, even with this step right here, you can really see how it starts to have that coppery feel. This is actually a really, really cool color palette, by the way. This like green with the copper trim. I kind of really dig this. The other thing you can do as well is once you put that initial layer down, you can add a little bit more of your burnt orange into that dark warm flesh, and you can use it to kind of lightly blend the edges of your first color into, or this most recent layer into your other colors.
It is very Death Guard compatible, yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, actually. It is exactly that color palette. I'm surprised I didn't clock that that's what that was in my brain. Yeah, there you go. All right. Hello. Good afternoon.
Well, hello, Jen. We have a Jen.
Jen has
You don't believe us yet, but you will in a second. Aha!
I'm here. Hello, hello.
Good afternoon.
We're like this because this is the vibe we've cultivated, Kyra. Oh, so now it's our fault?
Yes. Yes.
Probably have to agree.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm just getting here, and I'm going to agree with that. I don't even know what we're talking
Wait a
about,
minute.
but
You can't give in so easily.
That's pretty safe,
I mean,
Jen.
You're supposed to be on our
pretty
side.
safe.
when I see
You are literally one of
this is
us.
the vibe you've cultivated, I'm like, yeah, we probably have.
Yeah, whatever it is,
So-
it's probably true.
Oh, chat. Chat.
Law Dog here's incorporating a little bit more of that dark warm flesh.
Avian, now Jen is one of you. Yes. Yes, the tides have turned at Monument Hobbies.
I mean, Jen produces.
Jen has chosen her side.
She kind of rides that line.
Jen's always been Team Chat. Always. She may not act like it all the time, but you should hear about how she talks about you when you're not around, Chat. She is all about you guys.
She just says wonderful things.
Not to say that's wonderful. Like, what could we say that's bad?
Well, sometimes there are
I
bad
mean-
things
Well,
that we can say.
as the words were coming out, I was like, oh, never mind. I know that one time and that other time, and then that time last week, and then the other time last week, and never mind.
Yep.
I get it.
I love how Papa Chicken says it's now finally Jen's turn to say.
We're hiring chat.
We're hiring Chat. Wait a minute, does that mean I'm fired?
No.
Don't worry, Jason. I'll take
Never.
the
You're
hit
only
on this
safe
one.
I get a day off?
I get a day.
I would get, if they fired me, I'd probably get exactly one day off before the phone started ringing, asking me, how do you do this thing?
Yeah,
And then I'd have to come
that's
back.
accurate.
Yep.
So, no rest for the weary.
Jason,
Oh my God, you want to hear about weary? Have you heard this term, what is it? What did I say? The weekend hangover? You know what this is?
No.
So it's when you've had so much fun on the weekend that by the time you try to go to work on Monday, it's like you're hungover. It's like you can't operate. Let me tell you about our dog.
Uh-oh.
Our dog's name is Cora. She will tell you that in a heartbeat. Hi, I'm Cora.
Yep.
And Cora, every Monday has gotten progressively worse because when Saturday rolls around, she knows. She knows it's Saturday.
Yep.
Even if we get up at the same time we get up every other day,
Yep.
she will not let the normal routine happen. She goes, nope, it's
Saturday.
And guess what happens on Saturday, Dad?
Pupcake. Or
Pup cup.
Pup cup.
Yep.
She gets her ride to Starbucks, and she gets a pup cup. She gets to hang her head out the window the whole way there, and the whole way back, She whines the whole time. She makes those whiny noises, but it's like dog excitement
It's
whine.
like-
Yeah.
She talks the entire time.
She talks the
She
Can't wait
whole
to get
time
there.
in the car. She's like, and the only time she doesn't make noise is when she's hanging her head out the window. And then she gets back inside and makes noise.
Yeah.
And then we get to Starbucks and she makes noise. And then we get all the way back to the house, she makes noise, and then she's worn out for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
That's
That's
her
kinda
weekend.
nice.
And the dog
Well,
knows
or
it.
she's not. Or she's like,
Oh.
oh my God, this is fun. Let's go outside. I want to come back inside. No, I want to go back outside again.
Okay,
no, I wanna
that
go back inside.
it is that weather now. We get our steps in because the dog has to go outside and sun her buns for 15 minutes every 30 minutes. So she spends 50% of her day outside, 50% inside, but only in like 10 to 15 minute spurts. So she gets uncomfortable, comes inside,
I
drinks some
wonder what they're
water,
doing
wants to go back
inside.
outside.
I got to go check out what they're doing inside. And then she's inside. She's like, I wonder what's happening outside. I better go check it out.
But this is it. Like, she knows. And then Sunday, rinse and repeat. We do the same thing. And she goes hog wild waiting for her ride to go to Starbucks and get her pup cup. And then today, what happens on Monday, and sometimes a little bit on Tuesday, but it gets a little better. And then by Wednesday, she's back to normal. She's up and coming in and, you know, giving me a kiss and getting some neck scritches in my office on Wednesday. But today, watch this. Jen's got a picture.
Uh-oh.
This is Cora.
Come Monday.
This is Monday morning weekend hangover Cora. This is on her couch
Oh my
on Mom's blanket. She would not move for me this morning. When I got out of my shower, she was sulking on the couch like this. That's her sulk face. And she would not get up. She usually comes and wags her butt while I'm getting stuff out of the closet and Mom's getting ready. She's in Mom's bathroom wagging her butt. And then she follows me into my office while I put my shoes on, and she gets some neck scritches and wags her butt and gets all excited about breakfast. And then I feed her breakfast, and she barks at her breakfast while I have my vitamins. We have a whole routine that happens every day except Mondays. Because Mondays
She's
are
worn
Cora
out.
sulking because this is when it really hits home that this is not Saturday or Sunday. There is no ride for a pup cup on this day. And then by tomorrow she forgets it and she's back to normal, and then Saturday comes and we repeat. This is our life, chat. This is how our
that's
life
so
goes.
good.
Cora doesn't come to the office, no. She's probably like 6 or 7,
We got her
somewhere
one
in that
time.
range. We've had her for 4 years, and we think she was like 2 or 3 when we got her. She could be younger, could be older. She acts a lot younger.
Yeah. No, and to add to that just a little bit, every morning when I leave, I give her a treat or a couple little treats, you know, just as okay, be good, have a good day. And she has a spot where she goes and sits and waits for her treats. Not today. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get your treats. She didn't even raise her head off the couch. I took the treats over to where she was, and I set them down, and she put her head up and looked at me like, oh, okay. And then that was it. She didn't get up.
This is sulking. There is nothing wrong. This is sulking.
Pouting.
This is the pouting dog on Monday morning because it's not the day she gets to go have fun anymore.
You'd almost think.
Philip experiences this as well. Radcliffe won't come inside on Mondays from potty and playtime because he knows the difference between me hanging out at home and getting ready to leave for work.
It's
They
silly,
know.
right?
Dogs are hilarious.
She definitely is like Garfield and hates Monday. Sure. I posted that picture to my Instagram stories and I wrote, "This is the face of Monday despair."
Yes,
That's so good. That's so good.
100%. I love that your dog's name is Radcliffe, Phil.
That's a great dog name.
Radcliffe. So good.
Does he have nicknames?
Ratty.
Rad. Rads.
Rads.
Cute.
All right. There's your copper, Law Dog. This is finally that step with the just dark warm flesh. And it's amazing how much contrast you can get out of just those 3 colors, right? Because this is only 3 colors.
Mike. Mike says, still not dead, still hate the time change, and 4Q meetings. Good luck, monument peoples.
Yeah, Mike was telling me he was in like 12 hours of meetings. I was
too
like,
many
what?
meetings.
What the heck? What are you doing?
Too many meetings.
Tell people to go back to bed.
Back to my meetings laters.
Bye,
Well,
Mike.
Hi and bye. Thanks for stopping in.
Hope you're doing
Bye,
well,
bye.
Mike.
Thanks for stopping by.
Vector has a question. Wanting to use an airbrush and transparent purple to emphasize the volumes of some red tau by deepening the shadows. I assume to glaze you need to dilute them a lot given they are so pigmented. I guess I'm looking for some guidance on the level of dilution.
Airbrush and transparent person. Okay, emphasize the volumes of some red tau by deepening the shadows. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so first off, you want to use pretty low psi. I don't like to spray stuff that's super thin, out like through a high psi airbrush. So like using like 18 to 20 psi is usually pretty good for this. Use lots of glaze and wash medium. At least, I don't know, what do you think, Jason? 6-1, 5-1, something like that for an airbrush glaze over. I mean, I guess it kind of depends on the color of your tau. If they're really bright color, you want to go like super duper transparent and really subtle with it.
I mean, you know me, I thin the transparency down like 10-1 just as a start.
Yeah, I tend to go a little bit more
build
saturated
up rather than rely on getting the color right the first time. So I thin the crap out of them and do multiple layers, but that's just a matter of you knowing the color you're gonna get and play into that. But yeah, don't be afraid to thin it way down.
Chocolate lab named Indiana Bones.
Indiana Bones.
Taught him to poop on command to the command Crystal Skull.
What a terrible movie.
Hence the reason it's the command to poop, probably.
Yep.
Parody said, I haven't watched in a week probably. Jason is on the same model as 5 streams ago. Baby J has painted 2 full armies and 11 trainers.
Whoa.
Actually,
Whoa.
he repainted a bunch of stuff on the other model he was
I
working on.
I did
at
actually.
that time. Took one day of painting something different for a palette cleanser, and this, I think, was a demo. I don't think
This is a demo.
What he's painting.
Yeah, this
today.
is just a really quick demo for Law Dog, which I'm basically done with. And Law Dog, if you're here, let me know if you want to see this anymore. If you have any more questions about it.
3 years.
But this is your NMM copper. Yeah, I repainted the Robit for this guy. It was a lot more green a while ago, and now it is much more of a blue silvery color. I'm gonna glaze a lot more color back into it, I think, but at least for right now, it's gonna be this color. I do need to finish the stuff on the inside so I can actually glue this thing down, so I don't have to paint it in sub-assemblies anymore, which is a nightmare. Because
sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just gonna read a question if you're ready.
Yeah, go for it.
From Pedro Couto Art. How much would you use for a base coat through the airbrush? I've seen the latest podcast from Painting Phase, and one of the guys was starting to airbrush and mentioned Procurl and having issues. I guess he was not thinning enough.
Well, it largely depends on where you are, what kind of airbrush you're using, what size needle you're using, what the PSI is on your airbrush. Here in the studio, we spray Procurl when we're doing base coats right out of the bottle. We are using a 0.2 and a 0.3. Usually you will use the 0.3 when putting those kinds of base coats through. And we're sitting at around, what, 22 to 25 PSI?
Yeah, like 23, generally. I think, right now. But this whole model was sprayed with no thinning at all on the paints. And to give you an idea, like you can see the smoothness of the transitions and stuff. There's no glazing or anything done over the turquoise on this model. That's just straight airbrushing that I'm doing the weathering over. So yeah, it just depends on how you spray, your confidence in the gun, and your methodology for using an airbrush. Some people like really, really thin paints. Procurl will do anything you like. You can thin the crap out of it. In some areas, it won't spray as well directly from the bottle due to humidity and such, right? The painting phase guys are in the UK, I believe.
Yeah, yes, they are.
And so maybe they're seeing more humidity and probably want to thin it more. But yeah, you can thin the crap out of Pro-Acryl. And we just use tap water and a little bit of our glazed wash medium. You can use a flow improver. Any kind of a acrylic that isn't alcohol based will work generally pretty well. I don't like things that say they're airbrush thinners unless I'm 100% sure what the content is. You're gonna just have to be careful and not use like the Createx ones and stuff like that are alcohol based.
Mm-hmm.
Those will cause you all sorts of problems.
Water will generally just work very well. We have found.
Also, one thing with airbrushing just in general with acrylics is a lot of people will tend to fill their airbrush up with a lot of paint. And acrylics, especially once you start thinning them down and such, will tend to dry quicker. And if that curing happens in the cup, then you have to deal with that skinning and sputtering and all those hard particles falling down into the cup and then causing you to have all sorts of issues. But assuming that you've painted quite a bit before with an airbrush, then it shouldn't be a big deal.
Cool, that's good to know. Flapjack said that explains why the Createx airbrush thinner I got didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a fan.
Dodge Howell said, interesting about the alcohol and thinner. I've heard some people recommend thinning with water and alcohol. What are your thoughts on that?
I never would use alcohol with acrylic paints. Speeds up the dry time. I don't know why you'd want to do that.
Yeah, acrylics dry really fast anyways. They don't usually need a ton of help to dry quicker.
It seems like a lot of people talk about alcohol related to like using alcohol for a variety of things.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it evaporates faster, right?
Well, I mean, alcohol evaporates faster. It can be used as a cleaning and astringent, right? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
So it can help things, not create the crappy kind of, like coffee staining on the machine itself, because you're basically cleaning it as you're spraying. But yeah, alcohol and acrylics, water-based acrylics, not great. It's an old school thing back before they used to make products that actually worked. A lot of that has just survived the test of time because it's what all the old dogs did. And it's cheap. If you have alcohol sitting around the house for whatever reason.
ISO is relatively cheap to get.
Nick Pie said, well, Jen, because I like to add color to my vodka before I drink it.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Wait a minute. You shouldn't be telling Jen that.
Wait, no, don't do that.
She's like, there you go. You heard it, chat.
Wait, that's what I said. Wait a second.
Clip that.
Not ours. I know you would not eat our paint or consume our paint anyway.
Because you all are good chatters.
You guys know.
You've been trained
You know
enough.
what's up? Whiskey said, how do you feel about Windex with ammonia as a cleaner or thinner?
Again, I wouldn't use any of it. I don't understand the need. If you are trying to do something on the cheap, then maybe if it works for you, use it. I've heard people in very humid climates have better results with that. Again, if it's something that you have used and found that it works, then keep using it. It's not something I would go after and be looking to give me good results. Especially not in a dry climate. I wouldn't want anything that dries stuff out quicker. Ammonia provides no benefit that I can think of.
Other than being not good for you.
So, again, these are things that people added in back in the day when that's all they had, because nobody made the right stuff. And it survives because it's cheap household products that you might have laying around. So, it's like putting iodine on cuts. Who does that anymore?
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
That was just what they had.
Really?
So that's what we did as kids. We called it monkey blood.
Monkey blood.
Yeah, because it kind of, the iodine had that
so
orangey
weird.
reddish kind of look, and it came in little ampules that you busted out whenever you had a cut, and you put it on there, and it sucked.
Oh, it had, you guys had them in ampules back in the day?
Little old ampules, or they even made them then
Weird.
into like little plastic things that are kind of like what like
So
Tylenol containers are, and you
like little
you pop
capsules?
it, break
Yeah.
it open like plastic, but the
This is the
glass
last
ampules we
century,
had.
Jordan. It was a long time ago.
But even then, like, for me, when I'm thinking about glass ampules, I'm thinking about, like,
Yeah, you'd break
way
the top
long
off of it.
ago.
You'd break the top off of it and rub it on a cut, and not realizing at the time that when you broke the top off of it, you were getting all those glass shards into
Yes.
the ampule and then
Yes.
rubbing the glass shards on your cut. Woohoo! History.
Sounds awesome.
Do you remember Bactine?
Mm-hmm.
My mom used to spray
Yep.
that stuff on my, like, if I scrape my knee or something. Oh, I hated that stuff.
It was bubble because it was hydrogen peroxide.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Kyra Asylum said, I know better, but I'm still going to lick a little bit of paint off my brush as a treat.
Just as a treat. Treat yourself. I mean,
Don't
don't do
eat it.
that.
Have a cookie.
I mean, just don't do that.
There are cookies, cakes, lots of delicious treats out there that are available and much better for you.
Yeah, whiskey,
Even
it's
if they're
cheap.
bad for you, they're better than the paint. Don't eat the paint.
It's cheap. If you have it, you've got Windex and it works, use it. I just am always worried about how that helps in the polymer, helps or hinders the polymerization process for acrylic paints. As that polymer cures, you could have things that change the chemical bonding and you either get less of a cure or won't cure at all. So be careful. Usually those things are stuff like, especially the alcohol, like if you're in super high humidity, sometimes your paint won't dry at all. Especially if you start putting flow improver in it, right? And so if you use an alcohol-based thinner, then all of a sudden you might get better dry time out of it if you're in super high humidity. But generally in an air-conditioned space in your house, regardless of the humidity outside, you're never in that situation. The Bactine pain foam, yes, it would bubble. As a kid, you just used to get a kick out of watching it bubble.
No.
The pain would almost go away because you're like, what's going on?
We're different people when it comes to that.
We are different people.
Game Delay said, I am a consumer of Monument Hobbies products. Wait, that sounds wrong. So, for those in the know, that sounds wrong. Just as a general statement, that sounds awesome. You use
Yes.
Monument Hobbies products.
Yeah,
But then
Avian,
those
rub
of
some
us who
dirt
know
in
what
it. Walk it
means-
off. You didn't die, did you? Just a little blood. As it's like, psst, psst,
I like the rub dirt. Rub some dirt on it, walk it off.
Rub some dirt on it and walk it off.
It's like the guy that cuts his finger off in the shop, puts it in his shirt pocket, and drives himself to the hospital.
Got this.
Hey, I need to talk to somebody about this finger I got. Whose is it? It's
Excuse me,
mine.
ma'am.
Methylate? What is that?
Oh. Made up.
Sounds made up. I love it.
Hydrogen peroxide burns just enough to feel it. Somebody just said that peroxide both kill live cells.
Yeah.
Hey, if the live cells are in the general area of the cells that called themselves quitters and gave up and allowed the cut to happen, I'm not trusting them anyway. Kill anything in the general
Yeah.
proximity.
Get them gone. Get them gone.
Let regeneration kick in, man.
Ugh, that's so funny.
Weren't we supposed to put it in a cup with ice when we did that?
Yes.
Cut our finger off?
Yeah.
I mean, if it worked for you, great.
In shop, that's what they told us.
Yeah.
If you ever
Put
have,
it in
if you
ice.
were ever, God forbid, cut a body part off, get it in a cup of ice as soon as possible. Get to the hospital. Had a friend of ours in Pennsylvania cut his hand off.
What?
Yeah, he redid
Oh, I
homes.
remember
He
this story.
built all of the
Terrified
sets
me.
for the local theater company. And when he wasn't building sets for the theater company, if the show was running, they didn't need him building sets. He would flip homes.
I got to tell you really quick and interject before you go any further. Jason told me this story right before a day when he went out to do some sawing.
Yes.
So just
Yes.
keep that in mind
Yes.
from my point of view.
I was like, what's the worst that can happen? I have a friend that cut his hand off. So, because he's an idiot. He was an idiot. He had across the kitchen counter like a 2x12, right, stringer that he was trying to cut, and he had his hand, and he was cutting it with the circular saw, and he's cutting along the 12 inches like this, and you get across the 12, and he was in an awkward position, so he didn't want the piece to fall off. So you can't see what I'm doing here.
Oh, I think I know.
So he had a big board running this way, and he had his hand on it, and he was cutting with a circular saw like this. And when he got about halfway through the cut, maybe it was plywood, I don't remember. When he got about halfway through the cut, he reached his arm around this way to hold the board that was going to fall off. And of course, now he's unbalanced, and the saw kicks back on him, grabs like a knurl in it, or he starts bending it the wrong way because his body's off. Saw comes back, and the saw kicks up out of the thing and runs right across his wrist.
Ugh.
And literally lopped his hand clean off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just clean off, cut his hand off. So what did he do? He put it in the freezer, right? And called 911. They came and got him, but they were so freaked out.
They left the hand in the
They
freezer.
left the hand in the freezer.
Oh my gosh.
Took him to the ER. Had to send a runner back to get his hand out of the freezer with one of their dry ice things.
Yeah,
Put his hand on ice and brought it back. And in all of that time, they stitched it back on, but the nerves never repaired. He had weird phantom limb pain the whole time. He couldn't really use his hand very well. It was amazing. He could use his hand. It was nuts the way it repaired, but it caused him so much pain. Like he was couldn't sleep because it was excruciating tissue pain beneath the skin as everything was trying to knit together. So they had to go back and amputate it off. So he cut his hand off twice.
Vexing Workshop said mirthiolate was the red tinted antiseptic your grandmother would use, which I thought that was iodine.
Yeah, it's called monkey's blood. I think it's just iodine. Maybe there's a combo in it. Or maybe it was something different. But yeah, same kind of thing.
Please wrap severed body parts in non-fibrous cloth before freezing them.
Well, that's probably a good tip. GPA was the safety manager from some copper mines, horror stories galore. Yeah. Oh, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Like GPA.
Measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, I remember my neighbor growing up was this creepy old man, and he only had three fingers.
I think.
He only had 3 fingers on one hand because he had cut 2 of them off because something had jammed up his lawnmower, and to unjam it, he reached up under it.
What?
Cut off 2 of his fingers.
Oh my.
Even as a kid, I was like, that was dumb.
You know.
I remember telling this old man how stupid he was for grabbing this. Like, it was on? That's dumb. And he never talking to me again. Like, I think I just ruined that guy's whole life. That this little kid,
probably not.
This like 10 or 11-year-old kid next door knew better than to reach up under the lawnmower when it was running.
Jason, I think it's important to note here that you happen to know entirely too many people who have cut their limbs off before.
Dude, I grew up in the 70s.
I guess
things
so.
didn't come with warning labels.
Different times.
Suppose so.
They didn't no companies didn't have to spend anything to help stupid people not be stupid. Because it turns out nobody reads the damn labels anyway. It just costs us money to put stickers on stuff. Exactly. It's a waste. These people are going to cut their fingers off regardless. That guy, because he ran over like a clump of mud that jammed the blade up, he was going to reach under there and grab the clump of mud no matter what. And of course, when he grabbed the clump of mud out of it, guess what the blades did?
They chopped his fingers off.
Stopped being still.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny. There's no more mud holding him back.
Yep.
Oh my God, that guy.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
I love it. Flapjack said, I'm going to pass on cutting my own hand off, I think.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
Yeah, Darwin Awards will always be a
Tomato,
thing.
In all fairness,
Hold my
what
beer.
a dingbat.
In all fairness, what a dingbat indeed.
Hold my beer.
That's a good term to use. Dingbat is correct.
Tech Elf, but the reason society is failing so miserably right now is because they took our lawn darts away.
Yeah.
Because they took our
After this, I'm never building furniture again.
This is why the dinosaurs went extinct. They took away their lawn darts.
You're going to need to explain that one to me, Jason.
So there's a thing called natural selection.
That I'm aware of.
Yes. Leave people with their stupid toys. Because that's part of natural selection.
Okay. Makes sense.
James Iron, what's going on?
70s is the reason there is don't eat the paint.
The guy where I grew up was a garbage
70s.
truck man. Jumped off the truck to get some bins, but his wedding ring got caught in something and pulled his finger off. Yep, I've heard those stories before. That's why you never wear your ring when you're working in a shop. A lot of guys would put them on a necklace. So you had all the guys in the metal shop that had their rings on their necklace and their shirt. But even that was dangerous because one guy was leaning over the lathe and the ring fell out, got caught up in the lathe, and it yanked it off his neck. He was very lucky that was a weak chain because it would have pulled his face first into the moving block on the lathe, but it just tore it off his chest when it got caught. I was like, you are so lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like for us to change the subject. Because
no more near misses in shop class?
I'm already stressed out today.
Don't worry, I am on board with changing the subject. It's too much of that for one day.
Yeah, no jewelry in the shop is definitely the way to go.
Lathe face Larry.
Good old lathe face Larry.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly, James. You know what I'm talking about. It's just, you get used to things and the way they work, and you just your brain, if you've been safe all the time, your brain forgets to take the steps if you don't think about it. My buddies would laugh at me. They'd come over to my shop and I'd be welding and I've got my gloves on and I'd be bending metal and I'd be using the oxyacetylene torch and all this. And I'm always wearing my gloves. And they're like, why are you always wearing your gloves? You got to take them off to do this and then put them on to do that. It just takes up so much time. And I was like, dude, my hands are literally the only thing that does all this work, right? I grew up with people with fewer digits than they should have had. I want to keep mine. Latherface. Yeah, also don't headbutt the belt sander.
Oh, gosh.
Same reason you wear the hood to weld. I had a guy that would close his eyes. He would look at the weld, look at the joint, get the MIG tip there or the stick tip there. He couldn't do it TIG because you got to watch TIG, but he'd get it like that. Then he just close his eyes.
Okay.
To spot stuff together.
I have a question. This is something I've always wanted to know. What the heck is a TIG weld? Like, what's the difference between that and like a different one?
So the metal inert gas, the MIG welding, is when you have basically the anode is the material that you are running into the weld. So the MIG welder has inside of the gun has the wire feed, and the wire is the metal that gets turned into the weld, right? Yeah. It fills. So it arcs, which takes a chunk out of the metal and then fills back in with both the metal and the alloy of the wire weld in there too. A TIG, the anode is the gun itself with a needle inside of it. That causes the arc, and you can sit there and arc with no material with a TIG if you're good because it'll just melt the two pieces of metal together. But you have welding rod that you use when you've created the arc and pooled the metal and it's hot enough, then you can put the rod and dip the rod in there and it adds its material to the weld.
Okay, so that's a TIG weld.
That's a TIG.
So if you see somebody...
TIG, you've got material in one hand, gun in the other.
Okay. And then a MIG weld is where it's all done with the machine.
It's feeding through the machine. Which also, it can either be flux core wire or it can be argon gas that is shielded with it. Because you need a gas there that doesn't burn or burns at a different temperature to keep all the impurities out of the weld, because you now have open raw metal.
Yeah.
So you have to have something there. So either the flux that's in the wire, like soldering, keeps it clean, or the gas that's coming out of the nozzle.
Because I don't know if you've ever seen these floating through social media before, but I always see these posts where like people are like rating welds from people.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this is kind of interesting because like I know nothing about any of this, and I'm just like I find that sort of stuff interesting. So I'm like. I don't know what the difference is between these two things. Like,
it's super interesting. When I learned welding, I had an old guy who was teaching me not to burn my fingers off, right? Because I was holding the welds really close and trying to get in there. Turns out that arc is super hot, people.
Yeah.
And he was teaching me not to worry about the weld, but to watch the metal as it melted. That was how I learned to weld. Okay. I was trying to look through this stupid hood that he had that was like, I don't even think it was auto darkening. It was the worst thing in the world. You can't see anything through it until the arc starts. And the color's all wrong. It looks like something out of a Tron flick, right? All the colors are messed up. It's like greenish blue, and it's flickering as the lights flicker. You can't see anything. And I'm like, I can't see any of this. So he just trained me to stare through the hood and make horrible looking nonsense on a sheet of metal until I could see the pool start from the arc, and you could see the metal turn to liquid, and you could see how that changed the closer or further you got with the heat, and the tip, and then you would move that pool to the point where you could basically weld without adding any metal to it with the TIG. So
interesting. And does that have value versus adding material to it?
What's that?
Does that have value other than like being able to weld the two.
Well, you're not going to weld anything thick without adding material back into it.
That was my thought, right?
The thinner sheet metal you get to, you can actually weld it with just the metal parts themselves.
Okay.
Right? Because the arc is so low, the amount of amperage that you're putting out is able to just weld those pieces together by themselves. So when I would do like gas tanks or oil tanks, a lot of times I wouldn't have to add a lot of material unless my arc was too big, and you can see like an arc flare if I got too close and it would burn the metal out into a hole. So you'd have to patch that sometimes, depending on if you're working with like 16 gauge metal thin stuff. Sometimes I would get lazy and just be running a bead really fast, and it would just pull away and open up a big hole. If there were impurities in the metal too, it would cause that to sputter, and it would it might burn a hole where you work because it gets too hot with the impurities.
Yeah, well, because you're burning off something that you're not intending, like you're not at the right temperature.
Some sort of scaling or something. When it gets hot, when it gets hit by the arc, it burns hotter than the metal itself.
Interesting.
And so it would cause because you're really looking at the temperature. It's called what's called penetration. You need enough temperature for the weld to, like, you look on the back side of the piece you welded, and you'll see that kind of blue heat flare on the back. You want to have that to know that you bit far enough into the metal and the heat transferred through the entire piece.
Interesting.
Because if it's cold on the back and you just weld it on the top, it'll be brittle and break.
Oh, okay.
Because you're basically trying to anneal the whole piece. You're trying to get that whole piece of metal to change into something different. So you need the space around your weld to have become a new piece of metal, basically.
Right.
For lack of a better term. We weld oil and fuel tanks along with skids and other oil field equipment, James. Yeah. Stainless?
I thought that your explanation was...
Oh, good. Look at me. I kind of remember all that crap.
It was really good. It's very easy to understand.
Yeah, and there's arc welding, stick weld, basically the stuff they do underwater, where you have like a battery. You basically have a battery cable holding a piece of metal as your anode, and you clamp positive onto this and negative onto the metal you're going for, and you go brap, because there's just nothing but electricity running, and it wants to come together, and when it does, it causes an arc that heats it up so much that it melts the stick away into your weld. That's brute force right there, baby. I mean, you got to understand, like, after rivets, you got to think about, like, some people say TIG is so much better than MIG. If it's like, World War II, MIG won World War II. There was no TIG welding. That technology is new.
Yeah.
So it was like riveting, and then arc welding, and then MIG has won every war.
Interesting.
Tanks, all that stuff. Just huge arc welders, man, doing turrets on tanks. Beads that are like 1.5 inches wide that are filled by a dude sitting there doing the first pass and then the 10th pass as you fill all that in. It's crazy.
Because you're basically just filling a bunch of material in, right?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
The closest you got to welding is that one of your clients at work makes steel pipe and tube. You get to talk to him about it. Not much on stainless, but it's not uncalled for. A good bit of aluminum lately. Yeah, I'm not good at aluminum. I always overheat it.
Because aluminum melts at pretty low temperature, right?
Pedro says, until now with the limbs was okay, but with the welding, now I will have nightmares. Oh, really? Having a father with metallurgic company and as a kid needs to help. So being inside the tank with a gas stick following the welding red, blue. Oh, nice. Old style, right? Still smell the gas and feel the heat. Oh, man, I still feel the slag falling off when I'm welding up underneath a car frame with the welder up above you, and you're running a nice bead and you can't stop because you've got it going right, but it's getting to where it's over your head. And you're like, oh, and it drips right inside the collar of your welding coat.
No.
And like, then you're jumping up, and you go look in the mirror, and there's like a bead of weld that's like half in your skin and half out. So you gotta like pull this little pearl of metal out of your skin. And we just bought a welder for me again 2 weekends ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're building a fence.
Oh.
And
okay.
And Jen and I can't leave well enough alone, so we're building a really cool fence. And I have to bust my welding skills out again.
What kind?
Trouble in the neighborhood.
What kind of cool fence are you building?
It's gonna have a metal frame, obviously, hence the welding.
Sure. Yeah.
It has. So here's the thing with our neighborhood. Chat, you're gonna love this one. So in our neighborhood, it's a historic neighborhood.
I know what this is.
But it's not historic enough that when you buy a house, there's any kind of code enforced on you. There's nothing that they tell you can't do. But once you try to do anything, it's historic enough that they say, no, we don't like that, so we don't want you doing that. They're that guy, And so we were going to build a privacy yard in front. Half of our house has like the front porch and the entryway. The other half is like the front bedroom window there. But that's our exercise room, right? It's not a bedroom. And so we wanted to knock the window out and put a French door there, and then do a privacy yard out front, so we could have a nice area that was close to the living room where people could walk in and out, because it's the dog's backyard, and there's a garage back there, and it's all concrete and rocks. It's not nice. And so we started building this wall, and then we were told you can't do that. So we were going to build the wall at 6 foot tall with like wooden panels inserted in between pillars that would look really nice.
Yeah.
And they said, no, it can't be over 3 feet tall. So we built the wall at 3 feet tall, and now we have to figure out a way to get the privacy height out of it without it being permanent, because I read through all the rules after we got our wrists slapped, and the rules don't say anything about anything other than it being permanent. You can't build a permanent structure to the front of your house that's that tall, because it'll get rid of the historic relevance, whatever. So I have to build these fence panels as panels that are modular and that slide into the block wall we have, so that I can call them sunshades. Yeah. We're building sunshades, chat. And those sunshades can be lifted up and stored in the back out of sight.
That's awesome.
When we're not using them, so that we can make it seem like, oh, we just put them up when we're having guests or doing particular things, and then we leave them up year round, right? Like people do with their Christmas lights. So that's our story.
That sounds great.
So I need you to back me up, chat.
I mean, it's a legit story. You're gonna see it.
Avian says, so how far away is the hospital? Hey, I know what I'm doing. I take my time. I'm very slow and methodical with my metal work.
If there's anybody who I would trust when it came to doing that sort of stuff, it would be you.
It's about 1 mile.
Oh, T. Schmidt, it's metal framed, and then it has wood slats, all these different sized wood slats that are going to go in it, and like panels with fake ivy, and it's going to be really cool. But the dog will not be able to get through it.
James, that's the thing, is this is not an HOA. We have no HOA.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
It's no HOA at all. Yeah.
You guys are just getting bullied by stupid people.
We're getting bullied by Historic Society. The thing is that 80% of the houses have to remain historically accurate, or the other percentage of people can't get their tax break for the historic thing. So it all comes down to money. Nobody really cares about their historic house, because our area is not historic looking. If you drove down it, you're like, it's just houses. It's not like... About a quarter of a mile away, we have historic homes that have like plaques on their front walk, and you can't change anything to them because they look like they did in the 1920s.
Well, Avian, you got to remember that Arizona has only been a state since 1912. So, yes, the 50s is historic for us.
Yep. Our neighborhood's from the 40s.
And ours was, the World War II era.
Our neighborhood is actually historic for an actually cool reason. Yes. It was the first master planned community in the United States. It was done by a architectural group working with the government.
I thought it was a doctor.
To bring back small town feel after World War II, where everybody thought that the world had been the stage and people were sick of it, so they wanted to get back to that community feel. So our neighborhood's really cool in the way it's engineered. Yeah. But in modern times, it doesn't feel like anything other than a 2000s neighborhood. It's not all stucco homes like the rest of Phoenix. It's cool block and brick homes, but it's not historic. The idea behind it is historic, but the houses are not historic. They're all cookie cutter, same. Every house is the same, pretty much. Yeah, it's hard to find a neighborhood that doesn't have HOAs anymore. They're horrible. Don't do it.
HOAs are stupid.
They're horrible. Don't do it.
They are there to take advantage of you.
Chuck says, I heard we were talking about degloving. No, Jen said we can't do that anymore.
That's probably wise.
That's what it's called when you get your finger grabbed. Your ring gets grabbed. And...
Game Delay said, I'm not sure what Law Dog might say, but the key part of committing fraud without penalty is not documenting your fraudulent.
No, wait a minute. Like live on stream?
Law Dog said, yeah, I agree with my co-counsel Game Delay. You meant hypothetically.
Asking for a friend. There. I tagged that on at the end and we're fine, right?
I'm no fun anymore. It's too much. It's just way too much. I too many stories about limbs being cut off and fingers being destroyed. And
Jason has a surprising amount of them.
He grew up around cars and motorcycles.
I guess that's true.
And idiot neighbors in their lawnmowers. Like I said, man, the 70s were a wild time.
Sounds like it.
Nick said, I'll Photoshop an old picture showing that all the houses in your area were built with one of those screens. So technically not having a screen would be anti-history.
I made such a really cool Photoshop
Really
rendering.
Cool
Oh yeah, you like went all out.
I made a really cool Photoshop rendering of the architectural style I was going to do on the fence and the whole nine, and supplied it to the city and asked for permission. That's where I messed up.
Yeah.
We should have just done it. Because then what were they going to do? Well, we found out they'd come by and said,
they
you've got to
make you change it back.
Change that because they
which happened
would.
to someone, which is kind of, we think why.
It's vile, bored individuals because they're not even really. I mean, I guess they're paid by this city to be part of this historical preservation society. But oh my God, dude.
Well, so James, what we found out, what we think is the cause of all this is. We did find out that somebody in our neighborhood tried to build a fence, and they didn't do it properly, and the city came in and made them take it down. And so,
well, what a fence! It was a guy trying to put a second story on his house.
No, it was the ladies on the corner. That
those people brought their fence too far forward, and so they turned us in.
Yes, we think they turned us in.
100%
because they were mad that they couldn't keep theirs, so we shouldn't be able to keep ours either. If there isn't a specified code, then can they really make you remove it? Well, so the code is that over 3 feet you have to get a permit, and the Historical Society said that they don't approve permits, basically. So if anything, if you're doing anything that requires a permit, we pretty much will not approve it. So
yeah, you have to put it in front of the Preservation Society before they'll approve it if it has to have a permit. So everything we have to do has to be done without permits, which is why I'm making shades, removable shade panels.
They are gonna love that.
You know what? They're gonna love my explanation even better.
Yeah.
Gabriel said, I was talking with my neighbor who's a defense attorney, and he would love someone like you on his staff, Jason. The ability to deal with disturbing details all the time is essential.
Yeah.
What is the second story, if not a tall fence?
I asked the guy, I went through about a dozen scenarios. I said, okay, so check this out. What if we had a planter on top of the wall that could have bushes in it that took it to 6 foot tall? And he goes, if the planter is an integral portion of the wall, we would have to make you remove it. And I was like, so if the planter just sat on top of the wall, I kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. And he's like, listen, I'm not going to go through this with you. You do what you think you got to do and blah, 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 blah.
Basically deal with the consequences.
So I'm going to be like, yep, there's no permanent part of this that allows these panels to sit here.
Fine.
This is fine. Oh, goodness. So good.
But yeah, all of the houses in our neighborhood are single story only except one.
Except for one. Mm-hmm. Somebody got away with it?
Yeah.
Somehow.
What the heck?
When I asked him about all the houses that were...
Does it?
The way I knew we had them is I said, what about all these houses that have the exact same thing you're telling me we can't do? And he goes, well, they'll just have to pay the piper when the time comes.
Tell us. He's like, you want to start giving me addresses, you can.
We were nice. We didn't.
Wow. Wow.
But I will be that guy if I have to.
Yeah.
It's crazy, though, because, like, you know that it's all bureaucratic nonsense when you go... There are other people that are doing this. What the heck? And they don't just go.
Oh, it's not equal enforcement. They only pick on the people they know about, which are the people that have been turned in by their neighbors or who make the mistake of calling and asking that they can do it.
Right, but and this is why I say it's bureaucratic nonsense, because if they were truly worried about it, they'd drive down if somebody was like, "Hey, somebody else is doing this." Even if they didn't give an address, they have your address.
Right.
So you just drive around and you go, "That's wrong. That's wrong."
I sent him no fewer than a dozen pictures that we took driving around the neighborhood of exactly what we were talking about doing, and he wouldn't even recognize that we had done. He's like, "Yeah, well, they didn't ask." And I'm like, "So I'm asking and getting punished for being the good guy? Does that seem fair?"
You need to bake cookies for the neighbors, maybe secret recipes if they suck. Our neighbors won't even say hi.
At some point, you got to make the argument of, at what point does this become a nuisance that they're not all the same, and that we should do it because it'll make it more cohesive.
My neighbor the other day, did we talk about this on stream?
No, I don't think so.
The other day, I, in the mornings on the weekend, in order to take Cora for her Starbucks run, right? I have to move my car out of the driveway because we take the dog in Jen's car. And so I was moving my car out of the driveway, and there was this lady from the neighborhood who was walking her little schnauzer or something like that along. And a cute little dog. And, she was out, weather was turning cold, she was walking along, and so I get out of the car and I say, hey, good morning. I'm very nice to everybody. I said, hey, good morning. And she goes, wow, your car sure is loud. She didn't say good morning. She said, your car sure is loud. And I go, oh, really? And she goes, yeah, it costs too much to be that loud, doesn't it? And I'm like, no, that's just the way these cars sound. There's nothing I can do about it. I said, especially when it's cold out like it is now, it takes it a little bit to warm up, and it probably is a little louder. I said, it's just kind of the way it is. I said, and she goes, does it go very fast? I bet you drive it very fast. And I said, no, I drive like a grandma. I said, but the car will go fast. And she looked at me and she goes, don't you mean you drive it like a grandpa?
Oh my gosh.
This is what I get for being nice to my neighbors. I'm just like, good morning, how you doing? And the whole time we're having this conversation, our dog's pooping in our lawn. This little schnauzer is doing a poop that's bigger than it is in my front lawn.
Don't even get me started on poop right now. Let me tell you a story about my apartments right now.
It's so hilarious.
It's a great story, but it's terrible.
Oh, somebody.
Then yesterday, there's
Tech Elf. That's a good thing. We'll put wreaths on them in the Christmas time.
Yeah,
turkeys on them.
That lady needs friends.
She did. She cleaned it up right there because I stared at her.
But there's poop in our yard right now, though. Someone else.
There's somebody.
Probably her. She probably brought the dog back and let the dog run around and poop in our yard.
Somebody run the dog back and just let him go in our yard.
So you guys have been to my apartment complex, right? You know those big... Oh, sorry.
It says, in our neighborhood, a neighbor's house burned. When they got the repairs done and repainted, the HOA got mad that they painted the new siding green. Of course.
Oh, yeah, don't mess around with the paint.
HOAs you can't mess around with. But you're on the hook for your HOA problems because you bought a house that had the HOA as part of the purchase. So that's on you, right? Unless you bought a house and they made an HOA after you were there, that gets sticky. HOAs are the devil.
Yeah, they're
don't take me out for a beer and let me talk about HOAs. You'll want to storm the Capitol yourself when I'm done.
So you guys have both been to my apartment complex. You know those big hallways, right? Mm-hmm. That from the parking garage, you drive it, you walk into
your apartment. Yeah.
So somebody has a dog.
Oh no.
That they take for a walk.
Oh no.
And there's literally. You can see where they're taking their dog for a walk because there's literally just little pellets of poop that are just strewn across the walkways where, literally from, walking up the stairs, too.
So you need to tell the apartment people about this.
Yeah.
And have them start enforcing, because that's unsanitary and disgusting.
Yeah, it's gross.
And
yeah.
You have people who will handle this for you.
I will definitely let them know.
Yeah.
It was a recent occurrence. It seems like it may be somebody who recently moved in or something.
Yeah, it's never okay.
But I saw it and I was just like,
this is horrible. Like if you have a dog and you live where other people live, you just got to clean it up. And it's not even a question.
It's not even like a little. It's literally little droplets over the course of 10 to 15 feet. It's just like, what? Come on, people.
Were they dragging the dog along as it was pooping?
No, it's like the dog was shaking clumps of poop out of its butt as it was walking back
and they didn't
to their apartment.
Pay attention maybe.
But I don't know.
Drives me bananas.
Yes. It's a huge fine where I live. Yeah.
Is it one of those child's toys where you pull the toy along and it drops candy out behind it?
Yeah, pretty much that, but poop.
They were trying to capture you.
Is that what that's called? A drippy dog?
Drippy dog.
Are you guys asking about the same thing?
Drippy dog.
Drippy dog.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's right.
We were watching Tulsa King.
Oh, yeah.
And the part where he has an HOA.
What?
At the house he built, or the house he bought. It's so hilarious. The guy of the HOA. It makes everybody cringe. If you've ever had HOA experiences, it's like, oh my God, that's that guy.
It's like, yep, that sounds about right.
I've met this person before. Ugh. This is horrible.
And then they find out who he is.
I remember when I was living with Hayden, we had an HOA that was just horrible.
None of them are good. There's no such thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, I pay for this for you to come by and charge me money because you can see my trash can?
Yeah. I mean, it was like... the middle of summer or winter or whatever, and when you had to like have your you couldn't access the water because you don't want it to freeze. So like nobody's watering their lawn. Everybody's lawn's dead. It's all nasty and all dead.
And you're getting fines.
And we're getting fines because it's us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck? We mow it on the regular. We take care of it on the regular. And they're like, nope, you gotta make your lawn look better. And we're just like, what the heck is going on?
Yep. You can, even when you don't have an HOA, you can get fined by the city for overgrown yard.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can.
Yeah, we had one of the people in our neighborhood got fined, and the city came out and put a bunch of notices on their house because all their neighbors were complaining about their yard.
Oh, that's
and they were
so
like,
funny.
we just like the natural gardening.
What
did they call it? They
gardening.
I forget I forget what it's called. Naturescaping. It's supposed to look like the normal environment. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, those are wildflowers. I was like, those are weeds, honey. That's just disgusting yard work. That's why we put AstroTurf in every house we move into.
Fake is the better solution. Then you don't have to worry about it. Great.
Can we go back to talking about industrial accidents? No. We'd much rather get heated about HOAs.
Oh, that came up during the poop talk.
What, the HOA talk?
No, can we go back to talking about industrial accidents?
Oh.
Was from the poop talk.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry, we're off of that now.
Yeah, I think we're done with both of those conversations.
Yep. So aside from dog time, how was your guys' weekend? You guys do anything fun?
Pretty good. Did some laundry.
I worked.
Yeah, Jen came into work on Saturday.
I was there for like 5 hours on Saturday.
Oh, jeez.
Drunken brush goop needed making.
Yep.
So Jen made drunken brush goop.
I'm sure that there are many, many, many people out there who appreciate your extra work this weekend who needed brush goop.
I did some laundry. I made it to level 30 in the division. My goal was to get to end game. I did. Jen came in and asked if I was smoking fools a couple times.
Did you really?
Which is hilarious.
That's awesome.
She goes, "Are you smoking all the fools?" She's so hilarious. It makes me laugh. And I'm like, "Yes, honey, I am smoking all of the fools."
Oh,
Tech Elf, I did see that. That was awesome. There was a guy who had to have a fence to hide his boat. He put the fence up.
And painted it like his
the
boats.
Boat. Yeah.
That is amazing. I saw that and wanted to believe it was real.
I think it was.
He had a street artist come out and paint the mural on his fence because he had boats in his driveway.
Uh-huh.
And so they made him fence it in so that you couldn't see the boats from the street. And so when he built the fence, it's a big paneled fence, and he had a street artist come in and paint it as if you could see the boats. So it's exactly like he took a photo of it with the boats in there because the boats are backed in and the tongue of the trailer's out, and then the gate's closed and it's painted to where it's the boat with the tongue pointing outward. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I am kindred spirits with that man.
Oh, that person is awesome.
Kindred spirits with that man. That's why I'm making removable shade panels for our front yard.
Exactly.
I cannot wait to hear how that goes down.
British Panda said, "Jason, the battle damage looks great."
Thank you. It's taking forever.
Jade said their fluffy cat, is super excited because they're having the dinner that includes tortilla chips.
Does she like tortilla
Your
chips?
cat likes tortilla chips.
Oh man, I
That's
made
my
some
exact level of petty, and I love it.
awesome dip last night. Oh.
You know, I don't consider it petty. I consider it resourceful.
Yeah.
Because we need what we want what we want.
Yeah.
It's like if they'd have told us all of this, we'd have thought about a different house. You know. I asked the one guy, I said, "So are you going to pay our mortgage? Because it seems like you're more interested in how our house looks than we are, you know?" To which he did not really like that, but...
Of course not. Oh, God. That's funny, though.
Tell us more about the dip, Jordan.
Oh yeah, I made some delicious and not so nutritious dip last night for dinner. It was, I mean, it's like simple. It's like a can of Rotel tomatoes, a thing of cream cheese, and some like sausage, like pork sausage, like breakfast sausage type stuff. It was really good. It's the easiest dip I've ever made in my life. I will make it for all functions where dip is required, and it is delicious.
Awkwardish Panda, the boat guy. Someone mentioning the boat guy was in response to the house thing. So yeah, we're all on the same track there. It was a response to something that we're doing that is kind of working around
the
rule,
rules,
I guess you could say. We're not breaking a rule. Yeah, I was going to say, put some Velveeta
chances
in there
are
and you
what
got
we
a
are
solid
about to do is
queso
going to
toast.
create a new rule.
Probably.
But we will be grandfathered in because the rule didn't exist when we started our project.
Gray Mouser, cool. Said, I have an alcoholic neighbor and one across the street that likes to watch porn.
Nice.
What kind of a voyeur are you that you know this? Did they do all this with the window open and you're just like standing in your front yard in your underwear finding this out? What's going on here? I need more stories because this could be a nice cartoon.
We're not starting a war with an HOA because we don't have an HOA to start a war with.
No, we don't have an
Thank
HOA.
goodness. Yes, thank you, Panic Bomb.
We have an overactive historic preservation society.
Yeah.
And neighbors who don't want to lose their tax deferment that happens from being in a
Well, some of them don't. Others are just petty.
our neighborhood benefits from a rule in the federal registered historic neighborhoods that you get like the same tax rate you would in the 40s.
Oh, really?
So long as 80% of the houses conform to whatever the historic requirements are.
I mean, I imagine that's a pretty significant tax credit.
It's insane.
Yeah.
These people basically don't pay taxes
Yeah.
on their homes.
Do you guys benefit from this?
No.
Really?
We would have to apply for it.
Oh,
It's not given automatically.
that's a bummer.
Yes, if Gray Mouser's neighbors had temporary fences like ours, he wouldn't know so much.
See?
He wouldn't know about the lady who likes to watch porn. Told us. As we were driving her to work, I reached for the radio to turn it up, and she said, "Oh yeah, you like the last people that turned it up so they couldn't hear me, so I turned it up louder."
What?
Huh?
You lost me with that one.
Our current war in the neighborhood is that one person, because the weather's changing, one person likes to have a fire.
Oh my gosh.
It's caused such drama. There's a person in our neighborhood who likes to go out in their backyard and have a fire. And one of their neighbors, I guess, finally let them know that the smoke was bothering him. And so this person wrote a long apology letter to the neighborhood saying, I never thought about, that it would cause anybody any problems. Please let me know if you have an issue. And then another neighbor just unloaded on this person about how we didn't know who it was. It's been killing us. It's horrible. You need to, seek help and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa, dude.
This person literally just apologized.
Yeah.
Why are you killing him?
We have a weird neighborhood. Like we had
You guys got some weird
They have
neighbors.
a Facebook
No
group.
idea.
They have a Facebook group that all they do is talk about their yard sales and bitch at each other.
They complain a lot and talk about. It's funny because it's like, oh my gosh, it's raining. Like that's what someone will post in the Facebook group. I'm like, yeah.
Jen is so
Did
funny
anyone
because
else's power
Jen's
go
like,
out?
so did you see that somebody
mean,
posted that about, did you hear that thunder?
Yeah. Was that thunder or an explosion?
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and around 4th of July. Oh my God, don't
my
even
God.
get people started around the 4th of July.
I can't even. It's hilarious.
Who's
It's like
firing
one of those
off
train
gunshots?
wrecks you have to watch. Every now and then I go on the... Okay, go search for it in Facebook. It's called the North Encanto
It's
Neighborhood.
private. No
group.
one will be able to see it. It's
And-
private.
Oh, it is private?
Yeah.
Aw, rats.
I think most neighborhood, like Awkwardish Panda is saying our neighborhood Facebook group is much the same. I think they are.
They probably all
Honestly, I think they are. And because I used Nextdoor, and that was way worse.
The name of this piece.
Tech Elf, I wish
This
I
is
could get
better.
you in. I might invite you. We should invite a bunch of chat and have you just troll the North Encanto Neighborhood Association. It's so good.
You guys would enjoy that so much.
They hate me. I think that it's probably, I can only guess that it's worked around the neighborhood that house is the guy who questioned the spending we got from the government for neighborhood security. Did I ever tell that story on
Oh my gosh.
So our neighborhood got a grant from the local government to improve neighborhood security. All for it. That's great. You know what
I remember this.
You know what they spent it on? They spent it on glow-in-the-dark dog leashes and igloo coolers.
And a bunch of other
crazy crap from China. It was all off of Wish.com crap. It was like, it was stuff that I'm like, what is this? There was nothing in there that made anybody secure at all.
Yeah.
And I questioned it. I said, hey, who and how do we determine what the things that are up for are and who gets them? Because they did all these little personal goods that people that were friends with the guy who got the grant got to all go look at the catalog. It looked like, it literally was like the old bookstore or like book drive catalogs. It was like the chintzy crap you can get if you sell 20 books at the book drive.
Yeah, the Scholastic.
Oh my god, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Nick, the houses in the neighborhood were built in the 40s, not the 70s, which still doesn't sound old in a lot of places, but again, Arizona has only been a state since 1912, so it is a historic neighborhood for us. And Nick said they're all drama llamas. Imagine the commotion if a cop car pulled up at a house. The llama is actually moving out of the neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she posted today. She's like, "Come say goodbye." They're moving.
No.
But they have to. They're moving in a couple months, but they have to move the llama now because of the weather.
Oh my god. We do have a llama.
Really do
That's
have
right.
A llama in our neighborhood.
We do have a llama in the neighborhood.
Wait. What?
Our Facebook group is called Scanner Nerds, and it's about the same. We can get an inch of snow, and people are like, "How's the roads?"
Our group is the best way to figure out which neighbors are cool and who you stay away from. See, the cool neighbors just don't post.
That's the thing. We would never know because we'd have to go, hey, you meet people in the neighborhood and go, hey, are you part of the Facebook group? And if they go, no, let's hang out.
Yeah, let's get together.
Let's get together.
Yeah, let's not be part of the Facebook.
Pedro, if you sent it to support last Friday, I have not gotten it forwarded to me yet. But Jen would know more about that. She handles the support stuff.
I may have given it to Jordan.
Oh. So Jordan has it and hasn't given it
to me. Or maybe I gave it to Gabe.
The digital sculpture stuff? Oh, yeah, I didn't.
To Gabe.
Yeah, I've been through all my tickets. I haven't seen anything.
We have a lot to do. Gabe was out Thursday and Friday. So Gabe's digging himself out. So give it a little bit of time. But we will get back to you for sure.
Rose Hunter said hello from Zaxby's because it is superior to Cane's. I agree.
Whoa.
We don't have it yet.
Whoa.
I think it's coming soon. But I feel like it's been coming soon for a while and it has not appeared yet. So I don't like Cane's.
I always, every time we drive by it, I'm like, you want Cane's? And she's like, always, no.
Have you ever had Azell's before?
Who?
Azell's?
Never heard of it.
It's a more regional place that I guess maybe is only up in Seattle.
Well, then how would we have heard of it?
Well, I don't know if it's exclusive to Seattle or not. Some places like that, I don't know if they are or not.
Never heard it.
Okay. It's a chicken place, much like they do more sides. They have like the mac and cheese and the like mashed potatoes and stuff that they do in addition to it. Now I'm kind of curious. I gotta look that up later.
It is 3:45.
I'm almost done, damn it, with this.
Appreciative to all of you who've stuck around for all of our ranting about our neighborhood today.
Stupid amounts of doots.
Your guys' ranting is so much fun,
We talked about
though.
shops and welding. We have had so much more than ranting about our neighborhood. This has been a conglomerate of awesome today. I will have you know.
Yeah, today's stream's been great.
I gave a lesson on welding.
Mm-hmm. I learned some stuff. I finally understand the difference between a TIG weld and a MIG weld.
Well, I wasn't complaining that it's coming soon. I'm excited that it's coming soon.
She's probably complaining because coming soon has lasted 2 years.
What?
Yeah, that was the impression I got.
What'd you say?
That you were bummed because coming soon has been 2 years already.
Oh, I don't think it's been. What are we talking about?
The chicken
I'm talking
place.
about Zaxby's.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you say it had been coming soon for a long time?
Oh, not 2 years. I don't.
Oh. That was the feeling I got.
No. Zaxby's is 100% better than Cane's. They just don't have them in the Midwest. Correct. I think they're only in the South. Oh, they did get to see Cora, so it was a good day.
Yes. Although Cora was pouting, so
She
not her
was
best
pouting.
form.
Not a good day for Cora.
Not her
But
best
it's a good
form
day for
there.
us because we get to laugh at her cute, sad face. Very cute. and
Because
sad.
you kind of laugh at her cute, sad face. I love it. It's great.
The Irish president's bodyguard lives near you, Nick, and throws loud and late parties in the summer. There's zero chance the cops would show up if called. Yeah, sounds about right. A conglomerate of awesome is how I think of Wizard's Butt, said Game Delay.
It's how I think of what?
Wizard's Butt.
A conglomerate of
It's
awesome.
A conglomerate of awesome. Tech Elf said, is it just me, or is Baby J's robot looking like it's related to Jason's mech?
Yes.
They're good, yeah. Similar, maybe. Or like maybe the robot was standing next to the mech.
I mean, that robot is
Picking up some
basically
of the
what a
reflection.
clanner is anyway.
Filthy clanner.
Vatborn can't think for itself.
Hey, Prometheus is doing his best to try and teach this robot some
Only
stuff.
what it's programmed to say.
Beep boop.
Well, I just pissed some people off.
D-Fresh, you were able to, you said created a very interesting effect. Does that mean it's good? Well, tomato, sorry. I can bring the picture over again before we leave. So cute. Michael Payne Smitty said, good afternoon, everyone. I hope this finds you well, free thinking, and a tiny bit unhinged.
Always.
We're always
I think you just
excited.
described this chat to a T.
Welcome to
Congratulations, sir.
Monument Hobbies.
Yeah, welcome to Monument Hobbies. The
We
home
are-
of all
we are
things, all of
those
that.
things. Looks good. Metallics look correct to scale. Awesome. You subscribe to a monthly bottle of Wizard's Butt. We don't have a new Wizard's Butt every month, though. That would be very difficult.
All right.
A Wizard's Butt cannot be on any kind of timeline.
A wizard's butt arrives only when it
Only
when it
it's
intends
time.
to.
Wizard's butt is never late.
I love
No,
the
but
tiny
yeah.
bit unhinged part. Is that
don't-
like the hinge
you
is
don't
loose but
control
not
it.
quite dropped out completely?
What?
When you're only a tiny bit unhinged, is that like it's loose but it's still hanging on for dear life? Or the next time we open the door, it's off?
Oh.
Somewhere in between.
Loose and hanging on for dear life.
Loose and hanging on. I like that. Loose and hanging on for dear life. Kind of sums up everything,
Every
doesn't it?
day.
That's pretty good.
Like the Jelly of the Month Club from Christmas Vacation. I would totally purchase a Wizard's Butt of the Month Club.
Some bright ivory. We'll use this to do the doots on the off-white bits. We still got more scratches, gang. We're not done yet.
More dudes.
We're just done with turquoise. We're going to move on to doots with bright ivory. I think I used bright ivory. We'll find out real soon. This will either look great or it won't.
It'll be fine.
Pretty sure Wizards get new butts at least every 84 days. Monument Hobbies should keep up. Well,
I feel like 84 days is a pretty reasonable amount of time. We've had a decent amount come through in the last 80 days. We have had a new one within the last 84 days.
I don't think that's how that works.
It's not. Definitely not. Okay. Need some.
Nick said if we meet next year at a UK event, I'll tell you what Doots referred to when we were kids.
Whoa.
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 Source, your phone keeps telling you need to go to bed earlier. Today you're going to listen. Ciao. Get some good rest. We'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us.
See ya.
Anyone else in that awkward phase of being excited for Christmas season but restraining themselves so that they aren't sick of it by the time Christmas actually gets here? Still way too early.
I feel like if it's going to be here before any of us know it.
Let's enjoy our time instead of rushing to the end of the year.
I mean,
got a lot to do still.
Next week is literally Thanksgiving.
No, that's not Christmas.
I know, but like that's when the official like
Right.
it's now Christmas time.
Holiday
usually
season
So
starts.
let's get through
Yeah.
that, and then you can have your Christmas stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm not
Those of
saying
you
we
who've
should do it
been
early.
Putting it up, who've had Christmas up since Halloween ended.
It is too
Get
much.
sick of it. I'm already sick of it.
Jen is way more bah humbug than you would pick, or that you would think she is. You'd think I am the bah humbug one, which I also am.
Christmas doesn't do much for me.
I think the only reason that I like Christmas right now is I know that I'm going to go back and visit family.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Like, that's the big part for me. The whole like Christmas part of it, whatever. I could care less. But the fact that I get to go visit people, that does make me happy. Pretty rough. The molds did not come out very well for them.
You're off screen.
Starting to drop some frames.
I'm off
but
screen?
You were, yes.
Oh, okay.
We are almost done.
Oh, is it starting to
Yeah, it's starting
stutter
to
a bit?
feel a little twitchy.
Twitch being twitchy.
Might be us being twitchy.
Well, of all the times that it could happen,
Yeah.
5 minutes before the end of
5 minutes
stream's
before the
pretty
end
good.
is Not so bad.
Yeah.
Been a lot of nonsense on Twitch. I guess there was a whole big deal with advertisers pulling off. And so there's been a whole bunch of streamers who saw their ad revenue go down by like 80%.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, crazy.
That is substantial. That's like a big deal level of...
We don't monetize any of that, so we didn't recognize it at all. But
Yeah.
I've been watching a bunch of videos. I keep up with news on, just like in general, the temperature of Twitch and things that are going on in the community and stuff. And
Uh-huh. Crazy.
kind of
Twitch been
nutty.
doing that all day with streams.
Huh?
Michael Payne's Mini said it's been happening all day on Twitch.
Oh, the buffering and such? Every now and then they have a rough time. I wonder if they have anything huge going on. Or...
Awkwardish Panda, have a good afternoon. We'll probably be done by the time you're back. So when you come back, we'll have raided someone else.
Bye,
Thanks for hanging out.
Awkwardish.
Starting to drop some frames. Me when I worked at Michael's.
Jeez.
When you went what?
Game Delay said, "Starting to drop some frames" is a quote from me when I worked at Michael's.
Yes.
Pedro said, "Yeah, there's a big drama going on about that. I wonder if people will start shifting to YouTube." We are streaming on both right now.
It's tough, right? Because Twitch has its own value in the term that people still don't look at YouTube as a live source of entertainment.
Yep.
YouTube is rooted in everybody's minds as the on-demand version of what we do
Yep.
for nerddom and general stuff. You can go there when you want, watch at your leisure.
We're frozen on YouTube?
Huh?
It must be our internet then.
Hmm?
Rattlecan said, "I'm on YouTube and they're froze."
Oh, frozen on YouTube?
Maybe?
Oh, interesting.
How I'm reading that?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, YouTube?
Is anybody out there?
All right, well, I gotta go. Lock up.
I think we sufficiently broke up the line of the face to make the warpage in the cockpit not as recognizable.
Yeah. Well, the damage helps too, right? Because it makes all those lines a little bit more irregular.
Yeah, there's a pinch in the mold right here.
Yeah.
That if I didn't call it out, I think now is much less recognizable than it was initially. It kind of pulls the nose to the right, which is annoying, but breaking it up with that white line helped a lot.
Yeah. The texture over the model, I think, will do a good job of hiding all of that.
Yeah, it's dropping a lot of frames right now. So, guys, we're about to quit. So I apologize for that. Nothing we can do at this point. Network error. Please try again. A Vector. Good. Put it to work. We're anxious to see what you do with it. Glazing is so fun to learn, but it's one of the hardest to get comfortable with. Because controlling the viscosity and the opacity of paint is really where all the trick is. Everything else is just staying in the lines, honestly. But as you can modulate your opacity and play with thinner paints and thicker paint, then you'll find that there's a lot more you can do with everything you paint. I'm really liking it now. We're getting close. I've got to go back over a lot of the turquoise highlights to the scratches up here. We have to go to the brighter white blue up along the top, because it really shows that, my darker values are down low, because you'll pick up a lot more of the structure of the cracks in the paint. And then when you get up here on the top, you lose it almost all, right? Because the top's just too bright to show off, which is the way it should be. But I still want to pick some of them out with the white blue, like we did the edges of the metal, so that we can get a little bit of attention there. And it doesn't look like we just hit it with a sponge.
Every time I look at this, I am continuously happy that the green yellow turned out a lot better than I was expecting.
This part?
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
When you started it, I was like, this is going to be interesting, and I'm curious how this is going to work. And it worked out really well.
It's only like 2 colors.
Yeah, it's really simple.
You basically underpaint and glaze everything, find layering much harder. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it doesn't click the same way for everybody, so don't feel bad about that at all. Paint the way you have fun.
Yep.
We always say, paint the way that you get good results. Find other tools to practice and add them to your toolbox, but always go home to what's comfortable. Doesn't matter if that's base coat, wash, dry brush, great. As long as you're painting more models and happy with them, you use whatever works for you. Every paint technique is a great paint technique if it gets you painting. And even better if it gets you to come here and hang out with us and listen to people cutting their hands off, and dogs pooping in the yard, and HOAs, and
fences,
welding, and fences.
Yep,
welding fences.
We've talked about a lot of weird stuff today.
Food. We always find a way to put food in there.
We have to.
Talked about a few paint. Talked about filthy clanners. Don't trust them. Talk about chat and how you can't trust chat, too. Keep that in mind. Chat. Any painting is definitely a win, for sure. Nick Pye says, I get best results by putting the drop on my tongue and licking the miniature. I mean, I'll give that a... I'll give that a... I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
We need video, though, Nick Pye. So the next time you do this tongue painting, we need video. We'll turn it into a commercial about natural selection. We talked about natural selection.
Oh, we did.
And lawn darts.
And lawn darts.
We talked about chocolate cake and rug cake or carpet cake.
We did a copper non-metallic metal tutorial as well.
Showed you how to do copper non-metallic metal, which turned out fantastic.
Yeah. This has been a busy stream.
Happy Turducken from Canada. Turducken. Always trust chat to eat the paint.
As much as I say don't eat the paint.
I think carpet cake became a term that nobody knew they needed in their life until today.
That's kind of great, to be honest.
We talked about all the types of cake that would be okay to eat and not okay to eat off of a carpet. I think that anything in the world that leans towards sticky, not good with carpet. anything that would bounce off the carpet first probably gets the 5-second rule. Pound cake, I would eat off a carpet. I would pick it up and then shove that thing in my gullet.
Would you eat it off the carpet?
Yes. If you drop pound cake right here on this resin and plastic and paint infested carpet, which it really isn't, it's actually pretty clean, but it does have gribblies on it, like solids that you can see. And if I could get to it and pick it up by the count of 5, I would shake it, blow on it, and shove it in my gullet. 100%.
Not even surprised.
100%.
Not even surprised.
I've eaten French fries off the floor. I don't care. 5 seconds.
5-second rule.
Yeah. Bacteria knows. The bacteria sitting there with a timer going, all right, all right, all right, all right. Oh, I got it. Dang it. So close, guys.
Couldn't quite get on there. You know, we'll have to try again.
Gray Primer said lick layering is a thing, or it should be. I mean,
gross.
As long as you capture on video. See the things I can say when Jen's not here? Jason's attitudes make me feel like I need to pick up Battletech as a clanner and only field heretical Space Marine regiments. I mean...
Yes.
And say live long and prosper while you're playing? Yes.
Heretical Space Marine regiments.
Gosu says I'm a strict anti-paint eater, but I'm also in chat, so liar.
So I'm a liar.
So I'm a liar. All right, I'm typing things in chat.
All right. I will do the talking while Jason does the typing.
I'm typing.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. For all of the reasons that Jason has just mentioned, we talk about a lot of weird stuff. If you're new here, make sure to drop us a follow.
You are kind of crazy, and we love you for it.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way.
Make sure you guys click all the links as well. We got the store link up here right now. You can find all of the products that we sell here at moneymonkhobbies.com. We have this guy, which you can actually purchase from us right now on the website, as well as all of our fantastic paints and other hobby supplies and tools and accessories. You can also check the FLGS link as well. It's a good place to find local game stores near you, where you can also find all of our wonderful products. And then make sure you guys join the Discord and check out our YouTube page. So the Discord is going to have thousands and thousands and thousands of wonderful artists on there. We're over 5,000 now. We're going to be doing a fun giveaway stream here shortly, which we will announce. Tons of people on there. Super great place to hang out and enjoy the hobby.
You guys rock, Great Primer. And Pedro, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll get to your email, I swear.
And then make sure you guys check out the YouTube link. We got all the good tutorial content on there. All the past, find somebody to raid into the rest of your evening with some more hobby content.
And there's Jen. Hi, Jen. Bye, Jen.
Look at that. Perfect timing.
I have no confidence that I'll be back in time to do all this.
And we're done.
All right, gang.
That's it, everyone.
We're out of here. Have fun. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Adios.
2 to 4 p.m. on Standard Time.